Hi, I'm Debbie,
And I'm Jan.
and this is the Villages 365.
And today we're doing your questions answered. And we are behind a little bit on those because we were both separated for a few months. And so we're going to be doing quite a few of these and try to get all these questions.
Yep, so
answered.
We're not just going to release on Fridays. You'll find that we're going to be releasing these throughout the week just to kind of get ourselves caught up again. So it's one of those hair days, yeah for sure. Okay, so our first question was from the video, what is the best month to visit the Villages, from Lisa and Donna Liberio. I know you've asked questions before. Lisa Liberio. Are people allowed to bring floaties to the community pools, or do the community pools provide floaties? So some of the pools, you can bring in noodles.
Yes, and that's what I've seen.
But no big floaties.
Big
like you can't
mattresses.
bring a big, yeah. And they definitely do not provide them for you. So
now, when I was at the first responders, they had like a big barrel with
they did
with things in it, and I thought, is this a new? Because that's a fairly new
rec center.
And maybe it's just at rec center, or maybe people leave them, so they've decided to just put them in a barrel so other people can use them. But there was also toys, so it might be stuff that people leave.
Could be.
But the last time I was there, they were there, so I should probably go up there and look again.
Yeah, but at most of the pools, you'll want to bring your own floaty, your own noodles, but they don't want the big rafts, basically.
And in the championship pools, or whatever we call them, the priority, enhanced, or whatever it is.
Special people pools.
Do they allow those in there? Because I don't remember seeing any.
I don't
noodles.
think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't believe that
there's a pool monitor there for sure.
Yeah, and I've watched them. Little kids can bring like buckets and things like that. You can bring little toys for the kids and stuff like that, but no floaties in the. I mean, I think you can still do the noodles. I think the whole idea is to not knock everybody else over. So you're the only
drown
one
anybody
floating
as you go by and come underwater.
Exactly. So thanks.
And also, if you get on districtgov.org, there's a lot of information, and there's pool rules that I've never looked at before. And so, you have your sports pools and your adult pools and your family pools. Of course, the sports pools, you probably don't get to use floaties because you're going to be either doing laps or doing water volleyball or whatever. So anyway, I was kind of surprised that there were pool rules. So it's kind of fun to look some of these things up.
And I do think they post them too at each of the pools. So you would, if there's a pool you're going to, you can also see there.
But who does that?
Yeah, I do. While I'm laying out in the sun, I stare at
stare
at all.
It still says the same thing.
Yeah.
Next is Pamela M. 9621. Was it hard to move from the grandchildren, and do you feel guilty about it?
She has a lot of questions.
Yeah.
So
how often do you see them? And she's got a pickleball in here too.
So we'll go through them a little bit.
Yeah. All right. The first one is the grandchildren. My grandkids were already 4 and 6 hours away from me, so I don't feel guilty about it because I do quality, not quantity. We go back there quite a bit. We go back quite a bit in the summer.
She goes for holidays. Their birthday. She goes for their plays. She goes for graduations.
We had a lot of trips last year because we had a senior.
You guys are great grandparents.
Yeah. So I don't need to be next to them. Maybe I'm a bad grandma, but I don't think so. And there's a lot of people here that do miss their grandkids. And when you move here, they love it here. We have not found anybody whose kids didn't come and they love it. In fact, my kids are all coming for Christmas. So it's every other year and that we get them for Christmas. And this year it's here.
And I mean, I have only one grandchild. And so for me, it's a little bit easier too, because Jan's grandchildren are split in 2 different areas. So it's hard to live by either one side or the other. And I just have one. And yes, I miss her terribly. And do I have guilt about it? No, because I feel like everybody's got to live their own lives and everything. And so we do make an effort to spend time. We do go up in the summers and we take her and do lots of activities with her. So it's hard. And this is, I think you've asked before for us to even do a video on how we were able to leave our families and everything. That is such a personal thing that, some people are very attached to their grandchildren. Other people feel like I've raised my children, my grandchildren are bonus children. And so seeing them once or twice a year is sufficient, and they can come down and we can go up. So, that it really is hard. It's something that you really need to search your own heart, I think, for and
Yeah.
decide, what works for you personally. So it's hard to have anybody give you some coaching on that because.
Right. And once they get to a certain age, they're in school all day, then what do you
Right.
do? And then that's why we go in the summer for most of the summer, because they're home, but they're still active and they still have activities, and they don't wait around for grandma and grandpa because we're old. Let's see, what else did she ask? Pickleball. How do you get started? And we did a thing on pickleball. Everybody says you should do the pickleball 101 if you haven't played where you are coming from. And then they can tell you a lot of the rules and how to get into play and how to pick the beginners and not the professionals that don't want to play with you anyway. But,
yeah, and Gordon gave a lot of suggestions on that. And if you are an experienced pickleball player and you're just wanting to know how do you get involved with those activities, what I would suggest is it still is a good idea to go to the Pickleball 101 class just to meet people, and so you kind of get an idea of how the villages itself works, because Gordon gave a lot of information about the group that runs most of the pickleball here. And so that would be a good idea just to kind of reach out. But do you have to? No. Do you even have to have your own paddles? No. You can go to the rec centers and go into we've got little sheds basically, and they've got sports equipment in them, and you can grab a couple paddles out and go hit. There's balls there on the courts. And you can also just ask the players if you happen to go to one near your home and just kind of say, hey, I'm a beginner, or I'm intermediate, or I'm an advanced player. Where would I play? Most of the pickleball people know where to send you. So that's what I would suggest as far as getting started. But I'll go ahead and I'll put Gordon's video in there. He's one of the people that runs the pickleball groups. I'll go ahead and put it in the comments so that you have that as a reference also.
We'll see what else.
And yes, there are pickup games. She had asked, is it hard to find partners to play with, or there are pickup games? Somebody's always on the pickleball court, so you definitely can find.
And are the rec gyms good? And I have not used the rec center gyms.
Okay, so Leo and I checked them out. I will say we decided not to join, but they are as good as and so it's hard to know what national chains are around. It's like there's no pools and stuff like that. So it's like they've got weights, they have free weights, they have treadmills, elliptical, that kind of thing, bicycles, the row machines. We had a crazy experience when we moved here. So very short, funny kind of story. I thought when we first moved here, we were talking to the guy about, well, how does this work and what's the cost? And he's explaining, you can tell he's really distracted. He's looking around and stuff. Then all of a sudden he goes, excuse me. And there's two men, and they were actually fighting over a machine. They had their chests all out, and they're going, oh yeah, you want to take this outside? You want to take? And so Leo and I were just cracking up because it was just humorous. But anyways, they're fighting over the equipment, but I don't think that normally happens. And there was plenty of equipment, and we've been in there a couple times just to kind of check it out. And we have done it like when our kids have come, you can do it by the day, the week, the month, or the year, a membership. And so we did, when our kids have come, we have gone for just for a day and everything. And it's actually, it's a good workout. It's not a huge gym like Genesis or MVP or Lifetime Fitness or wherever you're from, X Fitness or whatever, X Sport Fitness. It's not that big, but there's plenty of equipment, and there's 7 of them. So if one seems to be more busy, there's always others that you can go to.
And then there's also the outside exercise equipment too.
Yes.
And that's free.
Yes.
So you just have to have nice weather.
Yes. And can you join clubs for the 2 months you visit? That would be what you would want to do, is just reach out to the club and find out. But I would assume, I'm in the platform club, and it's $10 for the whole year. So, I mean, it's not like the dues are excessive. And then you get invited to all their socials and all that stuff. So
yeah, and it's a good way to meet people. But I know a lot of people that come here seasonally, or they rent, and they join right in the group they were in last year. And sewing group or Mahjong or...
Usually everybody's happy to have a new face. So,
right. Yeah. And then it's
just
a bigger crowd. And so there's more fun to go around.
Exactly, exactly. So thanks for all the questions. This was from Kay Lang. When it is terribly hot and humid in the summer, do either of you ladies think it would be nice to be in the snow and cold back home? Well, for me, I don't mind the snow. It was the cold that I hated. And usually, I'll just speak for Leo and I, although you guys do kind of do the same thing. It is so hot and humid here, and we get a lot of rain. And so it kind of ruins all of our fun. We can't golf because it's raining. We can't play tennis because it's wrecked the courts. So for us, we tend to travel during the summer. It's a great time, like Jan was saying, to go up and see the grandkids and the kids because they're off for summer. And then in addition to that, if we want to go, whatever, to Yellowstone or something, I mean, obviously we don't want to go there in the winter either. So it is a great time to travel. So as far as missing the cold and snow, I would say for me overall, not as much, but it does make me want to travel a little bit further north.
Well, yeah, and I do not miss the snow because I grew up in Iowa, and then when we moved to the Kansas City area, I thought we died and gone to heaven because they didn't get that much snow, maybe more ice actually than snow, and we had a cabin in northern Minnesota that if we needed a fix, we could drive up there and drive back, and then we can fly to Iowa and see the kids and see some snow,
get a little snow.
It's still white and cold. All right, the next one, Frank Keel. When is the pollen count the highest? Does it rain where you should carry an umbrella with you every day? Well, we just kind of touched on that a little bit on the last question, but it can rain a little bit every day in the summertime. Mm-hmm. I mean, sometimes it's just a couple sprinkles, and sometimes it's just a pour down. That's obviously our rainy season. I think I looked it up. August is the one that had the highest humidity, which I would agree with. I think August is the hottest here. Mm-hmm. And the bad thing is that when it is hot and humid and it rains really hard, then the sun comes out. It just seems like all that humidity has just been doubled, and it's like an oven. Now you're in
like a terrarium.
Yeah, it's like I'm at a spa or something. But it is not a bad idea to have an umbrella in your car because you just never know. I mean, you can go in the store and
come out and it's raining.
And it's pouring down rain, and you're looking at which cloud is doing that, because sometimes we can't even tell which cloud is raining because it doesn't look like it should be raining, but it does. That's why it's so green.
And the pollen, just remember this area, because it's tropical, it is a 24/7 growing season. I mean, it's all year and all of that. There is a high pollen count in the spring and in the fall. You get a yellow coating of sand basically on your outdoor furniture, your car, everything just has a yellow coat on it. It's really kind of nasty, and it does seem like it lasts for a few weeks, I would say, and it's in the spring and in the fall. So
right. And I think that like the oaks, they go at one point, then the palms, they don't go all together like they should. Then we'd only have a small season.
Sandy Smith asked, what are love bugs? So love bugs hit us in 2 times a year also. And it's also the spring and the fall, right? Or is it August?
I think it's more like September.
Is it September? I didn't feel like they were bad this year.
I didn't either. I think it depends on the rain. I think it depends on the rain and the temperature, because I saw a couple when we were golfing the other day, and I'm like, oh, good, here they come. But maybe we missed them. I don't know.
It could be. But they're tiny little bugs, and they're in love, so they connect and fly around.
They fly united.
Like that. They fly united. And anyway, they're harmless. They're kind of pesky because they come in like droves. And the only thing you want to know, first of all, they're attracted to white. And
don't wear light clothes.
Yeah. And then you hit them, and then they smear on your clothes, and then you have a stain. If they get on your car, you want to make sure you wash them off right away, because they can stain your paint. They eat the paint. Yeah. So, they're basically harmless bugs, but they're kind of like gnats would be.
Yeah, they call it a species of March fly, whatever that is, found in Central America and southeast United States. So, especially along the Gulf Coast, and it's also known as the honeymoon fly or double-headed fly bug because
they attach at the ends.
Yeah, it's almost a push me, pull me from Dr. Dolittle. I don't know. Anyway, they are annoying, but they're,
Harmless.
yeah, just don't sit on one because it will spoil your,
Stain your clothes.
yeah. All right. This is from Questions Answered, a previous.
The May one.
The May, yeah. Kathy Alber. We want to know what you think about the villages getting so big. We have been here visiting for several years and the growth is crazy, but I guess it's to be expected. Would you still choose now? We've talked about this a few times. We would. We like the lifestyle here. And you can explore and go to as many things as you want in the villages, or you can stay in your neighborhood. I mean, our neighborhood does a lot of stuff. We wouldn't really have to go anywhere if we didn't want to. And there's a lot in the older section. There's a lot of remodeling and gutting of homes because some people like the older homes. They don't want the bond. And yeah, so
it is getting large, but we've talked about that. It's kind of going north to south. So it doesn't feel like, everything is exploding right where we're at. It feels kind of normalish. The only thing that I do feel like is changing up north a little bit is that they're putting in a few more condos, townhouses, apartments, not in the villages, but around the villages. But they're trying to draw more families, and they're trying to draw more, I think, they're trying to draw more workers because, again, the community is getting so big. If you have 150,000 retirees and nobody wants to work, you have a problem because you can't, someone's got to do something.
You have grocery stores, you have offices,
you have restaurants, all of it, doctors, dentists, so so that's the only thing I feel like that is changing up here. But the southern area is obviously where the growth is really taking place. So, and I know people down there, and we visited people down there, and they just, it's funny because they're new here, so they don't have the history or the thoughts about the villages the way we do from when we've moved here. This is all they know. And so they're all perfectly happy with all the growth. So
they just have a little sand in their lanais until it's done. The houses and the yards go in, or rock, or whatever they're doing. But other than that, it's insane. But it's a machine.
It is.
It's a building machine.
Dismindy asked on the same video, do you have to schedule your tee times in advance for the executive courses too? What about pitch and putt or the putting greens? Okay, so basically the putting greens, no. Putting greens you can walk on, putt whenever you want to. In the season, you may want to schedule your tee times, whether executive, championship, or pitch and putt, ahead of time, only because it gets so busy that you may not be able to get out there. If you don't, you can always call a golf course, or you may have to call a few to find out if there's any open tee times. And you can do that on the championships as well. But I will say for myself, last year I had a friend come down, and they only like to golf the executives. And I had even put in a tee time request, but I only put it in for like an hour block, and we didn't get it. And so we did then right away have to start calling to see if I could get something different. So I would just recommend, especially if you're only here for a visit, like a lifestyle visit or something like that, I would try and do something as early as possible.
Yep, I agree. I'm looking. The pitch and putt, you do have to require a reservation, but the putt, the ones
just putting greens are
the putting ones that are just almost like a putt course, because there's one up here and a couple down there you can just walk on, but like you said, you'll stand in line. They haven't been too bad. We take the kids there because it's a fun way to
the kids
burn off
like
some
that.
energy off of little boys, so we do that. Let's see, Carmen,
I think it's Carmine M. Do you think?
Carmine M.
I think.
Is there a way to find out where the neighborhood pools are? Districtgov.org, under the swimming pools and information. They have a map. They can tell you almost every village. I mean, you're going to have one close to wherever you are, because each village, they build a pool. There's like 119 now, I think, is the last number. And there's one up here that I don't think they're counting yet. I hope. Well, they tore it down first, so then they had to uncount it. Now they're going to have to count it. But anyway, there's tons of pools. You won't have a hard time finding one.
And if you notice, there's a little repetitiveness here. There is a lot of information at districtgov.org. So pretty much if you're looking for anything, you can kind of find it there. If you need
Yep.
some information about stuff, they're really good. That website is really good and very helpful. So
Yeah.
it's a great resource.
Oh, and also there's a website called thevillages101.com. And they have some information on there too, because I was looking on that today. But they said there was over 70 pools, but I think there's more than that.
I think, I think it's, last I saw it was over 90. So
yeah, well, I just saw some couple swam in every pool, and that was 117 or something like that.
So there you go. Anyway.
So there's new pools all the time being open. So we haven't been down south for a while, so maybe I'll get lost like the last time I tried to drive down.
So anyway, those are all the questions that we have for today. And like I said, the videos are going to start coming out a little bit more frequently so we can get you all caught up on the questions. And we hope you enjoy your day. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe.
See you next time.